this video, I'd like to talk to you about something called Perlite. What is it, and what do you use it for when you're growing plants? Well, Perlite is a volcanic glass that is mined, and then it's heated to about 1600 degrees, and that makes it expand to about 10 to 13 times its original size. This gives it a funny little irregular shape. If I were to take some, here you can see it has a irregular shape, and I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but there's lots of little holes and little dimples on this Perlite. And as I said, it's a very light substance. If you look here, you can see that it actually floats in water. It's lighter than water. Now if we go back to the shape, these little dimples and little pockets on the Perlite are important because this is going to allow water to get into them when you water your plants. So Perlite can hold on to the water, making it available to your plants. But since it's a glass, it does not absorb water. So any excess water that's not in these pockets, it will drain out of your pot. Why is that important? Most people realize or know that plants need water around their roots. But not everyone realizes that oxygen is just about as important as water. You need to have a balance of water and oxygen in your soil for optimal growth. And Perlite allows you to have this balance. As I said, the little nooks and crannies will hold on to the water, so your plants will be able to have enough water. But excess water will drain away so that there can be oxygen around your plant roots as well. I would recommend using about 1/3 Perlite in any of your potting mixes to provide good drainage or good aeration. Another use of Perlite is you can use it to take cuttings. So you would use the Perlite, make sure it's nice and wet, the water will be in lots of these little nooks and crannies. You take your cutting as usual, cut the leaves off, apply rooting hormone if you're going to, and simply put the stem in here, making sure that the nodes are underneath the Perlite, and make sure it's always wet, and you should have cuttings in about a week or two. I personally prefer using Vermiculite instead of Perlite because Vermiculite absorbs water, and so I think it's a little bit better at taking cuttings. But if you've never tried using Perlite to take cuttings, give it a try. It might work really well for you. You can also use Perlite in large containers, and you can also use it outdoors. Let's see how that works. We're in my greenhouse now where I have some very large containers. And here I have about 100, 150-year-old cycad. I have a rubber tree growing here. Since Perlite is very light, I recommend adding it to containers that have very large plants in them because the bigger this container is, the heavier it is, it gets difficult to move around. So if you have some large house plants that are in big containers or maybe some plants out in your patio, consider adding Perlite to the mix so that the containers will be much lighter and easier for you to move around when you have to.
Well, we're outside now, and this is my garden, and I have a lot of clay in my soil here. If you live in the northern part of the United States where there was glaciers and you have very sandy soils or sandy soils in general, this isn't going to help you. But if you have lots of clay in your soil, very easy to improve your outside soil. Simply add a little Perlite, mix it in. This is going to improve the drainage. You'll have much better growth. So I have a raised bed here that works great in your vegetable garden. If you're going to plant a tree or any plant outside, if you have a lot of clay in the soil, adding some Perlite, working it in will improve the drainage and you'll get better plant growth. So consider using Perlite outside if you have a very heavy or clay-filled soil.